The viewers have spoken, the polls have been answered, and after a majority of you guys answered no when I asked if you wanted a Minecraft movie review, I'm in. Let me start by saying that I've played Minecraft since a very young age. The IP means a lot to me, and it's home to so many awesome memories playing with friends, playing multiplayer on servers like Hypixel and Mineplex, and running solo survival in creative worlds. Minecraft was definitely one of the more significant games I played when I was growing up. This being said, when the Minecraft movie was officially teased, I was astounded we reached the point where it was actually being created. There had been rumor after rumor, request after request, leading up to the leaks and rumors surrounding the movie. And when all the hype and leaks and rumors culminated and the trailer was released, we get the greatest reveal of all, and probably the greatest line delivered in the history of cinema.
Who are you?
I am Steve.
I am Steve. I found the simple lines, played up with Jack Black's memey sense of humor and overenthusiasm, some of the funniest parts of the movie, but that also came with virtually every downside the movie faces as a whole. The movie is quite literally the embodiment of live by the sword and die by the sword. Some of the funniest moments in the movie were just because they were so stupid and so meta and so Jack Black that you just had to laugh. Our favorite line was when he says, "Yeah, my diamonds." Absolutely no reasoning behind it, no lead up, no logical reason to include that dialogue. It's just Jack Black being Jack Black and overplaying the role. It was pretty damn hilarious for all the wrong reasons. In fact, most of his funniest bits of dialogue are him just saying a noun like this. And I'm not joking either. Slime block and chicken jockey are just him saying a noun with a goofy inflection and a dramatic Jack Black-esque expression on his face and getting instantly memed by everybody. He literally just has to say one or two words, or maybe even a phrase if you're lucky, and he goes viral. I'll come clean and not beat around the bush anymore. I enjoyed this movie immensely. I never got bored, never wanted to leave, never got distracted, but certainly not for the right reasons. The movie wasn't gripping, well-written, intriguing, charming, or thought-provoking. However, it was beautifully shot, very colorful, lighthearted, fun, and absolutely ridiculous, and it fulfilled the fantasies of millions of people worldwide. This movie was fan service made material, to a point. However, these are about all of the positives that I can see. The movie was quite entertaining to watch because overall it was hilariously bad, and that's honestly not a bad thing from my perspective as a consumer. I paid $15 for a ticket and absolutely thought it was worth it. I saw it with friends, we cracked up at numerous parts, we all agreed it was absolutely atrocious, and that was pretty awesome. We bonded over $1 billion studio butchering one of our favorite IPs on the silver screen, and the irony of the situation really was worth $15. However, from a moral perspective, from a bird's eye view, it really is just saddening. This movie was intended to be a money printer and a meme machine. There are numerous lines everyone delivers that are so intended to be clippable and memeable that it just becomes tired by the second or third attempt. Instead of being organic, witty, and clever humor, the dialogue and most of the writing is reduced to simple one-liners, funny ways of saying words and phrases thanks to Jack Black's charming yet painfully repetitive inflection and delivery, and we're even still making butt jokes in 2025. It really boggles the mind. This movie is destined to be immensely successful. I mean, hell, it already is, and it's already getting a sequel, and it's destined to be a huge staple in 2025 and a huge staple of meme culture moving forward. We've already gotten the chicken jockey meme circulating absolutely everywhere, and people have gone as far as lighting fireworks and bringing live chickens to movie theaters. Theaters have started issuing warnings against this kind of behavior because there's some poor bastard who's 16 years old that's stuck cleaning floors that look like this. Needless to say, this is not a movie. It's just one big joke, corporately planned and designed to rake in disgusting amounts of money and viewership because of how popular meme culture has become. I can't even remember the last time a movie that took itself seriously was this massively successful. The last thing I remember was Dune Part 2, and then before and after that, there's just dead space with absolutely no serious movies getting this kind of attention. The Minecraft movie is a bitter reminder that basically everything is a joke nowadays, even if it's not intended to be. Even serious movies and shows that are genuine works of art are clipped and memed and made unserious. We are so unserious as a society that we go out of our own ways to find clips of high quality, serious shows and movies and then use them out of context in order to get the most valuable currency on the market, attention. in the form of likes, comments, followers, and even laughs from those around us. Despite my friends and me enjoying this movie way more than we probably should have, and my willingness to let go of my attachment to this nostalgic IP in order to enjoy a fun movie, it still irks me because this movie is the absolute culmination of what us critics call corporate slop. The billion-dollar company's plan to capture the masses and take advantage of a popular IP for the sake of revenue. Nothing about the Minecraft movie spoke, "We love Minecraft." Not to mention, Jack Black reportedly played over 100 hours of Minecraft to quote-unquote prepare for the role. Do you think Warner Brothers gave two shits about how much Jack Black played Minecraft before inserting him into the role? Hell, even if they did, what would it have changed or affected? Jack Black played himself in this movie, just as I predicted he would. Actually, he plays himself in more or less every movie he stars in. I could randomly interchange Steve from the Minecraft movie, Dewey Finn from School of Rock, Poe the Kung Fu Panda, and Professor Shelley from Jumanji, and nobody would notice the difference. Now, I love Jack Black, and he is a great, fun guy, so he gets a pass. But my point still stands. Nobody in the set actually cares about or loves the game of Minecraft, and it's incredibly evident within the movie. They just love the idea of dollar signs flooding their bank account because everyone and their children loves playing the Goofy Cube game. Just like how nobody in the upper echelons of Disney truly love any of the IPs like Snow White, Star Wars, and Marvel. They just know these things are marketable, and there's bonus brownie points when they inject woke diversity quotas and twisted ideologies into the movies to desensitize people to the idea of the left-leaning agenda. And this movie is no exception. So despite me loving and enjoying this movie for the absolute disaster piece that it was, I wish it was just that, a disastrous masterpiece. But this movie was designed exactly this way on purpose, and that clashes with my ironic enjoyment of the film. And I know damn well you could pay anyone who likes the game 1% of a Warner Brothers writer's salary, and they'd willingly and easily write a better script with a better story, all because they love Minecraft and they'd want to do it justice. Anyone that has even a little bit of experience as a writer could do better than whatever the hell this train wreck is. The Minecraft movie being bad was not unexpected at all, but it's way worse than I expected it to be. You really do have to marvel at the unprofessional writing mistakes, the lazy and unimaginative meta humor, the overtly obvious expository dialogue with no subtlety, and the sheer predictability of literally every single plot point and event within the film. The movie makes you feel like Nostradamus. From what little story writing experience I have, it breaks so many basic rules I can hardly stand it. Full conversations occur where the characters literally just exchange exposition. It's bloody embarrassing. That's embarrassing and hilarious combined into one word. And that's also a great example of the type of corny, colloquial meta-humor you'll find within the film, at basically every turn. Anyways, the young kid Henry and his sister... what was her name again? I can't even be bothered to remember her name because she contributed about as much to the plot as water contributes to an electrical fire. But Henry and his sister, who my friend thought was smoking hot, have a whole conversation in their car ride to their new town where literally almost every single line is just direct, unfiltered exposition with absolutely no subtlety. They both just state information like computers that they both logically should already know for the convenience of the audience watching. Because I might get copyrighted, I'll do my best to reenact the scene. I'm not sure moving to this new town is a good idea, sister whose name I don't know but who's super hot.
Well, Henry, I'm not sure about it either, but remember, I got a job offer here and I have to start working for this company. And also, remember that this is our mother's dying wish and we have to do this.
Oh right, super hot actress sister whose name I totally forget. I forgot this was mom's dying wish and that you have a new job. I wish I could say that representation was inaccurate, but it actually is. Come on, Pete, it's just a kid's movie. And why are you making fun of his lisp? 3 words, billion-dollar company. 3 more words, $1,000,000 salaries. Also, what the hell happened to their father? Whatever. Let's also not forget that this movie starts with an expository monologue from Steve that explains the entire plot up to that point. So we think, oh, okay, Steve is the main character. All right, cool. Wait, then Jason Momoa's character shows up, so he's the main character, right? Cool. Oh, wait, no, Henry shows up now. Cool, so the kid is the main character. That makes sense. Wait, no. But Steve needs his dog back. No. But Garrett needs his shop to become popular again. Wait, no, because Henry needs to fit in and be creative at school. Wait, no, it's because they have to save the Minecraft overworld. Wait, it's because his sister has to succeed at her new job. No, it's because they have to save creativity from being taken away by the evil pig witch like the Lego movie. We'll just throw crap at the wall and hope it sticks to all 6 of these objectives miraculously being completed by the end of the film. Spoiler, they do, and it ends with a dance number. And I'm not kidding. Let's not forget the painfully convenient occurrences that I could smell a half hour before they actually happened, not the least of which was the resolution of every single tiny problem within the plot, but also every long-running joke in the whole film, the resolution of every beef and disagreement with no necessary compromise, the defeat of the villain, and the acquisition of everything every character wants without a single changed motive and zero sacrifice. Heck, I would have even settled for, you wanted this one thing so bad, but you had it within your heart the whole time. Or even, maybe guys, the Minecraft wasn't the mining or the crafting. Maybe it was the friends we made along the way. Let's Minecraft! By the way, let's Minecraft is an actual line in the movie. Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay. One of my favorite convenient occurrences is when they literally break in-game Minecraft rules and stray away from the nature of the game to make what might be the most convenient and stupid-ass occurrence in any film ever made. Literally the prime definition of the critical drinkers so that the rest of the plot can happen. Steve's dog goes missing, and the party of Steve, Garrett, Henry, his sister whose name I completely forgot who my friend thought was hot, and DEI quota fulfillment get separated, with the 3 dudes and the 2 girls split up across the overworld. But then, out of nowhere, the girls are attacked by zombies that they defeat, and then they're approached by a wolf with red eyes, meaning it's hostile if you ever played the game. But then somehow, DEI quota fulfillment character finds a bone that drops from the zombie, which by the way doesn't ever happen, and then gives it to the wolf, and then the wolf turns out to be Steve's dog, and then, get this, leads them to Steve because it can follow his scent across the overworld, and the dog understands English. Oh my gosh. This scene right here might have been the most lazy, atrocious screenwriting I've ever witnessed. I mean, professionals wrote and approved and directed this scene. Not only was it predictable the dog would be Steve's dog, I also knew that despite actual dogs within Minecraft's actual gameplay never turning hostile against players once they're tamed unless they're provoked, that the rules were being broken so that it could be a gotcha moment so that the plot could progress and people would be like, oh my gosh, it's actually Steve's dog. Wowza! And keep in mind, when I watch movies, I don't watch them to criticize them, but this is so overtly terrible and such obviously awful writing that I literally couldn't help but scrutinize and critique it during the film. And for some reason, instead of trying to fight the wolf or flee from it, DEI fulfillment character decides to pick up a bone on the ground that drops from a zombie and tries to tame the wolf instead, defying all common sense.
What?
And of course, it's the best choice she could have made because it turns out that the dog is Steve's and it leads them right back to the other characters. So the characters being split up provides no added difficulty to their situation, doesn't further the plot or character development, and they're literally only split up for 10 minutes before being reunited by the dog. So there was absolutely no reason for that plot point to happen. I feel like whoever wrote the story for this must have been on acid. It was genuinely the biggest fever dream of a movie I've ever watched. I felt like at times I had dreamed the whole plot and the entire journey in one night before, well, I had the flu or something. You know, like one of those times you wake up drenched in sweat feeling like you just got smoked by a flashbang. Things were happening for no reason all the time, just for things to happen. The ending was predictable as all get out, and they just did too much at times for absolutely no reason. Henry just happens to be able to build the jetpack after some bullies say, "What a loser, you can't even science, bro." And then he builds the jetpack from school supplies, and it works. But it just never comes back up until the end when he arrives at school with the jetpack. A villager escapes into the real world, and instead of everyone questioning his blocky appearance, strange speech patterns, or even making one meta self-aware joke about how weird it was that nobody was questioning his existence, a woman instead falls in love with him after hitting him with her car on the basis of absolutely nothing, and then he ends up learning English from her. It felt like one of the goofy subplots in a sitcom that's just there for comic relief. But you can't have comic relief from a movie that is literally nothing but comic relief. And within the context of the movie, as soon as that particular character hits the villager with her car, you can already predict it's going to be some dumb joke about her falling in love with him. It was more of just a chuckle and an eye roll rather than a hardcore laugh. Also, Henry crafts a tater tot launcher, even though 1, you can't craft one in Minecraft, and 2, it's just stupid, okay? Like, am I the only one that thought it was just dumb? I just thought it was the dumbest, stupidest thing ever. It's just dumb and stupid. They used a cliche and bizarre trope where the lead commander for the evil dictator's army is a weirdly spoken beta male loser who makes colloquial conversation with the good guys, then makes a few meta cracks about how he has to fight and kill them. It was funny maybe once, but it was just so overused that it was annoying, and it ruined any sense of true villainy within the film. It was hilariously bad, to the point where hearing him talk was so funny simply because it was so repetitive and annoying that you could hardly believe they gave him any more dialogue than they already did. In fact, most of the humor in the movie was funny because you just couldn't believe that professionals made the choice that they made. The most painfully predictable part of the whole movie is when Jason Momoa does that whole "go on without me, I'll hold them off," and then everyone thinks he dies bit as a redemption moment for being a total jackass the entire film, to force the audience to find him more likable, despite him learning the square root of jack shit about humility and self-sacrifice the entire film. Then Jack Black and Henry are convinced he's dead, but everyone already knew that Momoa's character was going to come back and save Henry when he's falling to his death. And sure enough, 20 minutes of screen time later, Henry is falling to his death, and I lean over and whisper to my friend, Jason Momoa snatches him out of the air. And surprisingly, I was wrong. Henry uses an ender pearl and his improved understanding of the overworld's behavior that he's learned to relocate himself behind the evil pig witch queen, unsheaths his diamond sword, and takes her out. Just kidding. Jason Momoa shows up and snatches him out of the air. There were also characters who were completely irrelevant to the plot and were just there to make sure that there was representation within the film. Henry barely does anything and rides the coattails of Jack Black and Jason Momoa, who completely steal the show, as we all knew they would. He was obviously thrown in to represent the more nerdy, creative young boys that make up 95% of Minecraft's player population, and the entire plot could have just been completed without him present. Both female characters were clearly there to check diversity boxes, especially Henry's neighbor, who contributes even less than Henry's sister does to the plot, who maybe has 3 quips that are all unbearably cringe and atrociously unfunny just for the sake of giving her additional lines. Henry's sister contributes by creating a little bit of sympathy from the audience because she is now acting as Henry's mother, as we know by the super subtle exposition in the beginning of the film, but she quite literally does nothing. They're just taking a spawn egg that says spawn DEI check marks, and these two just popped out. So, wow. This movie was a disaster. Horribly written, dreadfully unfunny unless you appreciate meta humor and memes, and egregiously over and underacted depending on the scene and the character. Nonetheless, though, it was so much fun to watch because of how well done the animation was, how fun the action was, how colorful and vibrant everything was, how ironically entertaining it was to see how predictable and exhausted giant corporate movie studios have become, and we finally got to see Minecraft on the big screen. Despite this being very morally questionable and disappointing from a fan's perspective, seeing once again a corporation and big names who don't care at all about the IP and source material and only care about those sweet dollar signs rolling in, it was quite entertaining because I personally appreciated that Jack Black and Jason Momoa made it happen despite being handed so little to work with. They both acted with their own flair, and Momoa showed that he's not just Aquaman. And Jack Black was kind of just Jack Black, so Momoa gets most of the credit there. So in enjoyment, I give the theater experience a solid 9 out of 10. It would have been more enjoyable, honestly, if the movie was just good. As far as the quality of the movie goes, if you want a gripping story, thought-provoking concepts, interesting and relatable characters, something you can't predict, and something that's actually respectable and doesn't shit all over its source material, this movie misses every conceivable mark. And it's a -5 out of 10. I'm Prime Pete. Watch actually good movies. Sorry, I had to say that because I got this comment. You should go see this movie, but not by yourself. If you're going to see it by yourself, it's just kind of sad, honestly. Don't go see it by yourself. But if you're with friends, it's an absolute experience. You have to go watch it. And please, take it easy.